This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Cocktails up here feel just right. Is Cambria amazing? All right. Bring a date, your team, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com. See you on the roof.
Welcome to the 5 o'clock show. It's time for Common Sense. Now, it's Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby, standing for truth, justice, and the American way, bringing common sense to the world. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Breaking news, WABC.
Well, we are back, and it's Juneteenth today, and a lot of things happening, whether it's Moscow, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Iran, whether it's Hezbollah. Well, a lot of moving parts, and President Trump has his hands full.
Boy, does he have his hands full. And all I got to say, John, thank God he's the president, because he is juggling a lot. This is what he just put out on Truth Social just a little bit ago. And it deals with Iran. You could tell he's getting fed up. He says, we didn't meet our out of desperation. Iran met out of desperation. They are finished. We'll play out the 60 days, meaning the 60 days of the memorandum. They get no money, not 10 cents. So,
and he put that out on Truth Social?
And he put that out on Truth Social. So the question is, what is he going to do next?
So the question is, if they're not giving him any money, which one of his allies is double-crossing us and giving them money? Because the rumor is that they're going to be funding Hezbollah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that one of his allies, one of our allies, is giving Iran money because they haven't sold anything.
Right. They haven't sold anything, as far as we know. So
that's the real question.
And what are they getting in return?
Right. What are they getting in return is the big question.
Well, they're getting protection.
Right.
They're saying, and some of these allies, some of these people don't have any testicles. And Iran says, we're going to hit your refinery, or we're going to hit your this or that or XYZ. And they said, please don't hit us. We'll give you $1 billion. Yeah. Governor Patterson, you raised your hand.
On the 5 o'clock news, the international news that we have here, they said that Israel and Hezbollah have reached a new agreement just in the last...
Well, they did. It happened that we were on live this morning. Me and the judge were here, and at 10 o'clock, they said that
there's a ceasefire again.
They have another ceasefire. So it's on again. I would not panic either way. And I think by Trump saying, let's give it 60 days, this changes.
Every minute.
Every hour, right. Every hour of the day.
It does.
And people have to realize that if you have one Iranian, how many spokesmen are there? And how many people really speak for the entire Iran?
And nobody speaks
for the entire Iran.
But who has the power? Who has the real power behind the scenes?
Right.
And I think, look, Trump's mission is to keep moving that oil, bring down the price of oil. But you know why? By bringing down the price of oil, you hurt Russia. You hurt everybody because of the fact, where does the money go? And when the money goes to the bad guys, that way they have, besides feeding their own people, the bad guys have extra money to hire terrorists.
Yes.
So let's get this straight.
Yep.
That's, by doing what they're doing, is they are panicking that the price of oil was down to $74 yesterday. So I'm just giving you the interpretation that I give to the world, and it turns out that I'm right most of the time. All right? So, instead of panicking the world, an hour from now, they might have another meeting and say everything's fine.
Yeah.
Pakistan has announced everything's fine.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So let's not go up and down the roller coaster. And look, our job is to report the news, not to panic. And because I don't think the president is panicking, he gets aggravated like we all do.
Yep. And by the way, he has a right to be aggravated with Iran. And John, to your point, this is going to be a roller coaster. I think it's going to be bumpy. And I think he's waiting to see what is Iran going to do, because that ceasefire
I know
is the big issue.
If Iran tries to attack any ship, I know what know what President Trump is going to do.
He's going to bomb the heck out of them.
He's not going to bomb infrastructure necessarily. He's not going to bomb civilians. He is going to bomb and take out, like they took out all the leadership. They're going to take out all the leadership of the Iranian army and the Iranian
IRGC. IRGC.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting, John, because one thing
and he knows where they are.
Yeah, he does. I'm surprised that they haven't been 100% leveled or even 90% leveled. But the new news exactly about the IRGC, and this is a Reuters report. It's coming from Reuters. But they're saying that the IRGC is actively working with Iraqi terrorists plotting attacks on U.S. bases in Saudi, UAE, and Qatar and Kuwait. So that's interesting.
Every reporter worldwide is looking for the scoop. They're talking to every Shlemiel and Shlemaza. Is that the right words?
Yes, it is.
I have to ask Governor
Jewish language.
That was Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
Laverne and Shirley.
Shlemazo.
Right, Laverne and Shirley, right?
Yeah. And they're putting it out on Twitter, and it makes people go up and down the roller coaster. I'm not going up and down the roller coaster. If they do something, let them try. If I'm standing in President Trump's shoes, I will say, make my day.
Yes, and he will. Believe me, he'll level them. I agree with you, John. And listen, the tone of this comment from Trump compared to what he was 24 hours ago, you could tell he is fed up, because the rhetoric from Iran, he's not taking it. And I have no doubt he'll make whatever the target is, a pile of rubble. Hopefully it's IRGC headquarters. That would be very, very nice.
And hopefully somebody's in it.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it's packed.
They know exactly where they all are. Okay? So Trump's words are, make my day.
I love it. Well, let's go to KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor. And President Trump clearly is fed up. You probably saw this latest comment that he put out there, KT, and it's a doozy.
Yeah, well, you guys are all right, John. If they get out of line or screw up or whatever they're going to continue to do, I think President Trump then has the world with him when he responds. And I think that the target will be the IRGC leadership. And here's why. There are two groups, there are probably a lot of groups in Iran, but there are two main groups. And Trump is negotiating with the so-called moderates. They're not moderates. They're all crazy and crazier. But he's the pragmatists who know they have a country to run. That's who he's negotiating with. The guys who want to sabotage this are the IRGC.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
And so what they're doing is the IRGC kind of, nicking in here and a little something there, and they know that if they kill Israelis, that Israel has to respond. And then Iran can say, or the IRGC in Iran can say, oh, see, they've broken the ceasefire. So they're looking for a way to sabotage, the same way that in early October, before the October 7th attacks, Saudi Arabia was about to join the Abraham Accords. The Crown Prince announced it, and Bibi Netanyahu announced it, and they said, well, we're negotiating. We're about a week or two away from having Saudi Arabia join the Abraham Accords. And that's when Iran did the same thing. They sabotaged that by unleashing on October 7th. So they're saboteurs. They know they don't have enough power to run the country, but they have enough power. They certainly don't have enough power to defeat the United States, but they have enough power to sabotage. And so that's what they're doing. That's why I think President Trump is cool. He expected this would happen, and he's got a plan B.
Yeah, what do you think that plan B is?
What John said. There'll be a military plan B and there'll be an economic plan B. So plan B is to reinstate the blockade, which will blockade Iranian ports, but everybody else can have free transit through the strait.
KT, I also said, and maybe you have an idea, if Iran has money to give to Hezbollah or Iran has money, that means one of our theoretical allies is lying to us and doesn't have the courage to stand up because Iran has threatened them they're going to take out their refinery or something like that. Yes. Who would you suspect doesn't have the courage to stand up?
I would say Qatar. I mean, who knows who it is? I know that several of those, so the Saudis and others have gone to the president and said, look, if you do take out their final military targets, we're concerned that you get a lot of their military assets, but they'll have enough left to take out the Saudis, Bahrain, Kuwait, et cetera, take out their military energy infrastructure, and that's bad for the economy. It's certainly bad for those countries. So I think that's why they convinced President Trump to, quote, stay his hand and not, quote, finish the job. Will Iran do that? Yeah, I'm sure they will. But what Iran has done very foolishly is early on in the war, when they were trying to hit anybody they could, they hit those luxury hotels in Dubai. And what happened was that the Emirati banks, which is where a lot of the Iranian offshore kept, especially the IRGC money, they went to the U.S. Treasury and said, okay, here are the books. We're opening our books to you. You can see where the IRGC keeps its money. And then the second thing that the crypto world did was that somehow the U.S. Treasury has figured out how to assess and access the crypto accounts of the IRGC because they were money laundering. And those things have been shut down. So if Iran starts to be tricky, if the IRGC tries to be tricky, we can not only militarily attack them, the way John said, and I think that the target will be the IRGC leadership, and the other target will be the IRGC's bank accounts.
Yeah, and that is the big deal. What do you make of the fact in this message, and we were just talking before the show, it's fascinating because he's clearly furious when he says they are finished, and then he says we'll play out the 60 days. So how do you read that?
I think President Trump is trying to get in the head and scramble the brains of the IRGC and the Iranian leadership. That he's trying to, people say, well, Iran's trying to drive a wedge between the United States and Israel. Well, I think President Trump's trying to drive a wedge between the different groups in Iran. President Trump could, within a few hours, take out the military targets that we've talked about. And John is right. We know exactly where all of those leaders are in the IRGC.
And so does Israel. Israel knows where they are, too.
I mean, I've seen those satellite pictures. We can read, like, the name tags on somebody's jacket. We have such unbelievable satellite capability of knowing where they are. So would these guys be taken out? Yeah, be taken out in a heartbeat. So as Trump says, we've gotten, we killed off the tier 1, then tier 2. Now we're under the tier 3 leadership. Well, we could just go tier 4, tier 5.
Yeah, and let's hope we do that soon. Go ahead, Ed.
KT, there's a basic military question here, and I don't know if you have the answer or not, but maybe you've heard. Can we militarily clear the straits in order for ships to go through there safely?
We have already cleared the southern route, and that's near the Omani shore. Yes, we can certainly do that. We have done that. We may have to escort vessels, and that's not a long-range solution to it because it's expensive, et cetera. So the way we take out anybody attacking is that we see them from a distance. The missile can hit any missile, but the real threat would come from those little speedboats, those little Boston whalers that have machine guns on them, and we can certainly take those out. The United States military Navy is not going to be done in by what a couple of speedboats in the so-called Iranian Navy. So we have the ability to do it. The northern route, on the north side of the strait, and that's the one closest to the Iranian shore, is more problematic for the reasons that I've just said. It's those little speedboats and Boston whalers that are hiding in coves, and they could come out and attack a ship. So the problem is not that we couldn't defend it and we couldn't clear it. It's what are the insurance companies going to do? Because if the insurance companies won't insure those vessels because they think there's some risk, then it is as effective as if the strait was mined. That's why I'm very surprised when President Trump, remember when he said a couple of weeks ago that, well, we, the United States, would give the insurance policies,
exactly.
the insurance policies for those ships, and sort of nothing happened with it.
Yeah.
I would hope we revisit that.
Hey, KT, one thing, and Ed and I, we were talking about this earlier. I don't know the answer to this. We don't. Have there been any Iranian ships that have gotten through? Have they been able to move their oil at all since this deal?
100% no. They have been absolutely bottled up. They've said a couple of times, the Iranians have said, "Oh, we got our ships through." No, they didn't. The Central Command has said that any Iranian vessel, whether it's an oil tanker or some other ship, carrying consumer goods, does not get into the Iranian harbor or out of the Iranian harbor.
But what about now that they signed this memorandum, though? That's what we're asking.
I don't know. This is so. President Trump said that it's. What did the vice president say? That it was signed 2 days ago, and then today it goes into effect. So are we letting ships in? I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the last sort of 6 hours. Are we letting vessels in or out? But the fact that we told our negotiators don't go, I think means that everything's kind of put on hold. But I don't know. That's a decision that the president makes.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why we weren't sure either. Yeah. That's why it's an interesting point. We'll give Ed Cox credit for that.
I suspect the blockades are still there.
I would assume.
Are still there. Yeah. Whether we have started letting some go in and out, some Iranian ships either bound to or bound from Iran, in or out, I don't know. But within 2 minutes, the president makes the call, and all of a sudden, no Iranian ships are going to get in or out. So our armada is still there, our military capability is there, and they're probably all itching to resume the blockade.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where it is. As John was saying, it's a roller coaster. Yeah,
it changes every hour on the hour. So I ask everybody out there, don't get excited. They specialize in trying to get you excited. They specialize in taking you up and down the roller coaster. Yeah, so it's all a lot of crap. At the end of the day, we win.
Totally. I mean, we completely win. But you're right, John. There's a lot of vested interest in taking us up and down the roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And the roller coaster, that is the best explanation. That is the best way of envisioning what's happening right now. We'll go up and down that roller coaster for another couple of weeks.
Buckle up, right? Buckle up.
Well, whatever. Down, it'll be.
What happened to the merry-go-round, though? That seems to me it's also a merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that too. Yeah. That's true.
A little bit of that.
KT, thank you so much, and have a great weekend, and we'll see where the roller coaster goes.
Thank you so much, KT.
Happy Father's Day, John, and all the rest of the
and all the other guys here too. Absolutely,
all the other fathers,
and to your wonderful husband too, KT.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, KT. And you guys, I understand, John, that we have somebody calling in now.
Oh, I think, why don't you take Lara Trump?
And joining us now is Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump on Saturday nights at 9 o'clock on Fox. Laura, let's get to the big news. Your father-in-law, the president, just essentially said that Iran is finished. He said, we're going to play out the 60 days. They're not going to get any money, not 10 cents. It sounds like he is clearly fed up, understandably, with Iran.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, he's not going to be the one to be pushed around. Maybe very different from past presidents. He's taking a strong stance for the United States, and he has been very clear about what he wants from Iran and what he expects out of a deal with them. Obviously, that they cannot have or develop a nuclear weapon, they cannot purchase a nuclear weapon, the Strait of Hormuz has to be open. But, they also can't take us for fools here in the United States of America. And unfortunately, that's happened time and time again. It will not happen under this president's watch. And he's been very clear as well, Rita. He has said, look, if they violate any terms of anything we talk about, then I'm just going to go back and bomb the hell out of them. So I think he's been pretty clear with them. I think that they're willing to test the waters because it's worked in the past with other presidents. But pretty obviously, this president is putting his foot down and they have another thing coming.
I thought about, Laura, thank God it's your father-in-law, President Trump, who's at the helm right now. I can't imagine with them being as they were so close to a nuclear weapon, and now with the games they're playing with Hezbollah. I mean, what a difference a presidency makes.
Well, not only that, but, whenever you look at a situation like this where according to the intelligence that the president has been willing to share, Iran was within weeks of developing a nuclear weapon last June, whenever Operation Midnight Hammer went forward, whenever we bombed all of their nuclear sites. There had to be action taken. And every other president was willing to kick the can down the road and say, well, I'll let someone else deal with it. And I think this president deserves an immense amount of credit for taking action at this point. Look, it is not politically advantageous to do something like this months before a midterm election year. It is not, anything that I think he would have wanted to do, except he had to do it. Someone had to put a stop to the development of a nuclear weapon of Iran. And just like so many other things, previous presidents said that they would handle it. They did not. This is the man to get it done. And look, I know things are strained. I know things are tenuous. And I know that there's no finalization of anything right now. What I can tell you is that I believe that future generations are going to be so grateful that we had President Donald Trump in the White House right now, because he's doing all the necessary things to ensure the protection of this country, not just now, but for future generations.
Yeah, it is absolutely courageous. And thank God he has the bravery and the courage to stand up for America, but also, really the free world. I feel so much is at stake. He's also dealing with so much politics, Laura. I mean, you've got all these individuals who are criticizing him, especially on the Democratic side.
Yeah, well, that's the least surprising thing ever. This is a president who said many times, he says, I could cure cancer, and they would still have a problem with it. Look, there's nothing easy about what he's trying to do. There's nothing, that is neat or easy about peace, right? This is something that has been 47 years in the making, so it's not going to happen overnight. And all of these people who want to be a Monday morning quarterback on this memorandum of understanding, if it were easy, other people would have done it, but they didn't do it. And so I think people need to take a breath, give this president and his team time to negotiate, time to do the bidding for the American people, and time to take care of a problem that has been festering for decades. But all of these people who want to come out and criticize him, he's doing it for them too. I think that's the thing I continue to think about. Without this president in the White House, with these lunatics able to develop a nuclear weapon, they have told us what they want to do with it. They want to get rid of Israel. They want to get rid of the United States. So they're welcome as well. And this president is fighting on their behalf, despite their insistence that he's doing something wrong.
Yeah, you're right. It's a generational change, and it is. Thank goodness. I've said this so many times. I can't imagine if it was another president at this time. The world should be thankful. Laura, I know also you're focused a lot on domestic politics this weekend. You have Steve Hilton, who I love, and also you have a story about animals, which I love too. John and I are like total softies for animals.
Animals are the best, for sure. People may be familiar with Ridgeland Farm. They're a dog breeding facility specifically bred for laboratory research and experimentation. And Rita, this is a cruel practice that our government right now under this president, here's another great thing Donald Trump is doing, they're phasing it out. RFK Jr., Brooke Rollins from their agencies are working in tandem to phase out animal testing because it's an archaic practice. But this particular location had around 2,000 beagles there that most of them were already rehomed in May. The last little bit of them are being rehomed right now, and they're going to go on to live great lives. So we connect with some of those beagles and talk about the difference they've made for some incredible service members of ours coming up this weekend. I also go out to California. I'm talking with Steve Hilton about the race for the governorship out there in California. Obviously, our friends in California, we feel so badly for them. We want California to be great again. Steve Hilton talks all about it this weekend. And we also have Mike Walsh to keep us updated on everything Iran. So it's going to be a great show tomorrow night at 9 p.m.
Well, everybody's going to be tuning in. Laura, you have another blockbuster, and boy, perfectly timely guest. And I love, I remember you and I was at one of your animal rescue events too. You are so awesome what you do for our animals. We love you. We appreciate you so much. And everybody tune in tomorrow night. Laura Trump, My View, 9 o'clock on Fox. Laura, have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rita.
Thank you, Laura. Great conversation. And you heard what she said, John. She applauds her father-in-law for having the courage and says, thank God he's the one in the White House right now with all this roller coaster that we're dealing with, right? Thank goodness.
Yep. It's a roller coaster, but he's a tough guy.
Yep.
And he doesn't get affected that much.
No, he can
They're
juggle
trying
it.
to psychologically affect everybody else.
Well, you know what's interesting? Talk about how much he can juggle. You brought up before Russia, Ukraine. I mean, think about everything with this, with Russia, Ukraine, with the economy. I mean, there's so much on his plate, but he is the master juggler. That is for sure. It's incredible. John, we're going to take a break, everybody, and we're going to talk about the economy with Steve Moore right after the break.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
Adobe Firefly is the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video editing for today's creative process. Built for creators of every kind, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, the budgets aren't getting bigger, and the timelines, oh yeah, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Unlock a better way to make with Adobe Firefly.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, with us today is Steve Moore. I guess Larry Kudlow is off today, and the stock market is closed. But Steve, me and you have to work.
We do. We're 24/7, my friend. And look, what a week this was for the market. What a week it does for America. I feel really good about the direction of things now that we have this peace deal. I know people have different opinions about that, but I'll tell you, I think the oil price is going to continue to fall, John. I know you're the expert on that, but I think we're looking at $3.
On Thursday, it was $74 a barrel. And I've said to everybody, I was on Maria Bartiromo for a few minutes this morning.
Yes.
Until the satellite feed blew up. And what happened is that I guess OPEC is panicking. Russia is panicking because as the price of oil falls, so does their revenue. They don't have the excess money to have terrorism and you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, you're exactly right. And look, Russia's whole economy right now is basically, you know, selling oil and natural gas. And the more we produce here at home, the more we disarm them.
And the more the price goes down, the more deep crap they're in.
There you go. Now, the other thing that's going on with the economy, and I've talked to a lot of CEOs in the last couple of weeks who are just telling me that, and I know that the AI is very controversial with people, but my God, the businesses are using it. They're telling me they're having amazing productivity improvements. Productivity means they're able to produce more goods and services at lower cost. So I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm going to echo my buddy Larry Kudlow. We think that inflation, John, in the next couple of months is going to go below 2%, below the Fed target. We're at 4.2% now. We think we're going to be at 2%, 1%, or maybe even 0.
And then the Fed chair has a reason to lower interest rates, and I think he's going to lower interest rates. And I think the Fed chair, who spoke before, he was just playing the violin to the people that wanted to hear the violin the other way.
Yeah. So basically, the market reacted when he spoke. What was that? Wednesday or Thursday? I'm confused in my days. I think it was Wednesday. And there's a big sell-off, and they think that he's going to raise rates at the next meeting. No, I don't think so. He's an inflation hawk. He wants to keep inflation low. But given the lower gas prices that are coming and the productivity improvements that are happening and the blockbuster IPOs, I don't see any reason to be raising rates right now. And I think the next direction, John, is down, not up, with interest rates at the Fed.
I'm a believer, and you're 110% right, Steve Moore. In all of this great economy is going on, and that $19 trillion that Trump is predicting, even if it's $10 trillion, is not here yet. And as it comes here, the economy is going to get even better.
Yeah, and it's a very simple construct that the Fed chairman in the past have not always believed in, which is when you have more economic growth, you have more productivity, you have more products that you're selling, more oil on the market, the price goes down. It doesn't go up. And that means,
and as the price goes down,
and then you add to that the lower interest rates, the lower tax, the lower gas prices are like a tax cut. I mean, I'm bullish on America right now. We're the number one growing economy in the world. Everybody's looking at America saying, what is going on in that country? It's all growth, it's prosperity, it's wealth. I mean, we're going to have 2 more $1 trillion IPOs. It's amazing.
Now, why is Iran, why are all these countries taking us up and down the roller coaster? The truth is they want the price of oil to go up. For every dollar it goes up, it means a lot of money to them, okay? So I want every listener worldwide to hear what I'm saying, that they're stirring the pot for the price of oil to go up because oil is money.
Of course, it's black money. But here's the point. There's so much oil, and there's so much, our drillers get better and better in terms of their productivity. And so look, this is going to be some. No, look, there are going to be some bumps in the road. There always are. When Lord knows what's going to happen with Iran next. But all right,
one last thing before we go to a break, Steve Moore, and I want just your opinion. If Iran is getting money, or if the IRGC is getting money from somewhere, which one of our allies is double crossing them and feeding them money?
I do not know the answer to that one, my friend. I'm not a foreign policy expert, but I think, one of the things
I'm just asking you for gut feeling.
Well, I'm going to say this. We've learned through the last 4 or 5 months who our friends are, who are not our allies that we can rely on. And we don't have a lot of allies that we can rely on right now, frankly. But I wouldn't want to cross Trump if I were Canada, Europe, Great Britain, because Trump's going to remember, who stepped up and who didn't.
Well, the next target is, how he wiped out all the mullahs and all the leadership? He's going to wipe out all the leadership in the IRGC and say, goodbye, guys.
Well,
he knows exactly where they are.
You know who else needs new leadership? The entire European Union. They're a bunch of commie
cowards. Cowards.
Listen,
cowards, right.
France, we saved their behind how many times already?
Yeah, many times.
Well,
But Rita, I want to make sure that everybody knows that tomorrow at 10 a.m. you got Larry Kudlow for 3 hours. Then, you know what comes after Larry Kudlow for 3 hours?
More money, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching.
More money. We're going to tell you how to make more money, folks. So tune in. Ratings are great, John. I think we're talking negotiating with John Catsimatidis is tough, but I think we're going to get that second hour.
Oh, there you go. John, what do you say? Did you hear that?
Put him on the spot right now.
Don't worry. We if you come up with great guests
like a non-answer
instead of Brand X, you got it.
Time to be good at politics.
Okay. So thank you, Steve Moore, and I'll be listening to you more. I'll be listening to you between 1 and 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon after Larry Kudlow.
Don't forget, Rita, it's morning in America.
It is. It absolutely is. It's great to talk to you. Good luck, Steve.
Happy days are here again.
Yeah,
where's the song?
Yeah, we love that song. It's Friday. Come on.
It's Friday.
Happy days
are here again.
The skies above
the market's going to hit 60,000.
That would be great. A song of cheer again. Happy days are here again.
Steve Moore will be listening to you and Larry Kudlow tomorrow.
Thank you.
And the top news of the day, Rita. And, give it to us.
There we go.
It's the top news of the day. Here's Rita Cosby.
And I'm going to give it to you guys. Here are the headlines. President Trump will be at Camp David for the weekend as the scheduled U.S.-Iran talks are off to a very rocky start. They were supposed to start today in Switzerland, but several reports indicate that they were scrapped after Israel and Hezbollah traded fire in Lebanon. A ceasefire agreement has since been secured, sort of, but it's unclear when the U.S.-Iran talks will resume and where things go from here. And also, this is so sad, a major emergency response is underway after two passenger trains collided near Bedford, England. The Telegraph reports that some of those on board suffered very serious injuries. Videos from the crash site show that the two trains smashed into each other, and there is no word yet on what caused that collision. Of course, praying for everybody on board. And everybody, we're taking a break. We're going to go to General John Teichert, find out the latest, what he thinks with Iran, and also Melissa DeRosa talking about that rally.
Oh, she's one tough lady.
You like tough ladies, right?
I love tough ladies.
All right, after the break.
Looking for a protein shake that tastes as good as it performs? Meet Rockin' Protein Max. Packed with 50 grams of fuel, it'll help you keep up when your day won't slow down. And because it's always creamy and never chalky, every sip tastes great. Even better, it's lactose-free and has 0 added sugar. It's not every day you find a protein shake you actually want to finish. Catch Rockin' Protein in the dairy cooler at a store near you. Rockin' Protein and Shamrock Farms are registered trademarks of Shamrock Foods Company.
Youth sports families and fans, huddle up. Wherever life takes you, Game Changer keeps you connected. Stream games live in full HD when you can't be there. Get play-by-play updates right on your phone. And share game highlights with everyone. Full bragging rights included. Live the game like never before with Game Changer. Create your free account today at gc.com.
If you're a QuickBooks customer looking to grow without the growing pains, you need the Intuit ERP, the AI native ERP that upgrades right from QuickBooks. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
Hey, I like your new RAV4.
Thanks, yours too.
What does RAV stand for anyway?
To me, it's the Remarkably Advanced Vehicle.
Really? To me, it's the Runway Approved Vehicle for its amazing style.
What about Remarkably Adaptable Vehicle because of its versatile cargo space?
Or Really Admired Vehicle?
Oh, or Really Awesome Vehicle.
It really is the Recreational Activity Vehicle. The stylish 2026 Toyota RAV4 Limited. What's your RAV4?
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC. Breaking news, WABC.
Well, just to get an update on this terrible train crash that took place in Bedford, England. Two passenger trains collided. And we just got word, by the way, that one person has died and 89 people have been injured, 11 of them with very serious injuries.
What is it, head-on?
Yeah, it looks like a head-on.
How do you put two
passenger trains?
Two passenger airplanes going in the same
direction?
Trains.
How
does that happen?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. They said they don't know the cause. Yeah, big time. Wow.
The track.
Yeah,
tracks,
wow.
They can move the tracks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm wondering if there was obviously an issue. Well, you guys, let's go. There's a lot happening on Iran. Let's go to General John Teichert. General, fill us in. Where do you think things are going from here? Because there was just a post from President Trump talking about disappointed, obviously, very much with Iran, who wouldn't be. Then you got Israel, Hezbollah. What's the next 60 days going to look like?
Oh, no, first I want to ask the general his opinion. I've asked everybody else.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're going to ask.
If one of our allies is double-crossing us and feeding money to Iran, do you have a gut feeling who it could be?
John and Rita, thanks for having me. I can't imagine that anything like that would be happening without at least back channel notification to the United States. So I'm not tracking that. I'm not going to hazard a guess, but I would have to believe if anything like that is happening, then there has been some notification and some approval from the United States for them to be doing that.
Well, I guess we got to take one day at a time. The truth is, we don't know what the truth is.
That's true. And I'll tell you, going back to Rita's question, the reason President Trump is rightfully concerned, especially disappointed with respect to Iran, is that Iran walked out of the willingness to meet face-to-face in Switzerland today. And I fear that this is the first step in this post MOU era where Iran is still using their same old tricks, which is backsliding and bad faith negotiating and delays. And I really know and hope that the president sees right through it. And at some point, we're not going to continue on with this deal if Iran continues to try to play us and not actually negotiate and act in good faith.
Well, I mean, I also said before that some of the nations, the oil-rich nations, and including Russia, that oil was down to $74 on Thursday, so they're panicking because at $74 going down to $65, they're trying to do something to stir the pot to get it back up again.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that at all, especially Russia. They're the ones that have benefited most from high oil prices and to some extent the lifting of sanctions on their oil exports. And we better keep a keen eye. And if they start meddling in our business here between us and Iran, then we need to drop the hammer in an appropriate way, and economically is the right way for them.
You know, it's been interesting. General Teichert, sort of as you're talking about Russia, in the last 24 hours, they have been getting pounded by Ukraine. And everyone's wondering, where's this going to? So it's been an interesting dynamic to see what's been happening there. They hit an oil refinery. I mean, that was amazing. You see the tank of it like flying up. So it's intensifying between Russia and Ukraine. What do you think's happening vis-a-vis there, to John's point, as we're watching what's happening with Iran?
Well, I think it's fascinating that actually in 2026, Russia has lost ground in Ukraine, and they're getting desperate. And now that Ukraine proved again last night that they not only have the capability, but the capacity to reach out and strike Moscow and strike targets in Moscow in the heart of Russia, that's going to potentially stir the pot, but maybe also force Putin to try to find an off-ramp, because he is hemorrhaging, Russia is hemorrhaging, and they are losing right now, no doubt.
Ed Cox.
Question. How long do you think it would take for the Gulf states to establish defenses working with Ukraine and others with respect to drones and other weapons that they're not used to being attacked by?
Well, I think it's awesome that Ukraine came to the Gulf countries' aid and helped them understand how do you counter drones, because Ukraine's been fighting this war now for 4 years and they are the world's experts. So now the Gulf countries owe them. And I think based on the goodwill that has been accumulated there, that they, the Gulf countries, are going to provide massive amounts of financial support. And that could easily tip the tide to help Ukraine finally have the capacity they need to do something that Russia realizes they need to stop. Otherwise, they're going to keep hemorrhaging.
You know, I'm curious, kind of back to Iran, where do you see all of this going with Hezbollah and also Israel? Because overnight, Hezbollah launched attacks. Obviously, they're a proxy of Iran, and they killed 4 Israeli soldiers. Israel then responded. Now they've said there's a ceasefire, but it was after they traded barbs. I think there's going to be a lot of this back and forth, don't you?
I think there very well could be. And I want to clarify something you said. I don't think Hezbollah is just a proxy. I think they're actually an arm of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. But I think that the president of the United States should look at paragraph 1 of the MOU very carefully and tell Iran that paragraph says that all parties have to honor the sovereignty of Lebanon, and the entity that has violated the sovereignty of Lebanon most, far more than Israel for decades, is Hezbollah. And if Iran really wants to show good faith here, then they need to disband Hezbollah immediately to honor even the first paragraph of that MOU.
Judge Weinberg.
General, good to talk to you again, sir. The problem, of course, is Iran needs Hezbollah because they're the ones who do the fighting for it. And if Hezbollah is gone, then the IRGC is totally undermined, don't you think?
No, so I do think, Judge, but guess what? That MOU doesn't just levy responsibilities on the United States and Israel. By the way, Israel, we should support fully, supporting them and their right to self-defense. But I think that as I read that first paragraph, it tells all parties involved, including Iran, that they have to fully honor the sovereignty of Lebanon. That means you've got to get Hezbollah out. And as much as Iran doesn't like it, and they wrote that paragraph to harm Israel and the United States, we need to turn it back on them.
Well said. That's a very good point.
Well said.
I believe what Israel is doing. If you kill one of ours, we're going to kill 10 of yours.
Right. You have a right to respond.
Yep.
Absolutely, 100%. Well, General, thank you very much, General John Teichert. It's great to have you back on. We miss you. It's great to talk with you.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys, big rally last night in Brooklyn with Bernie Sanders and Zoran Mondani and these three progressive candidates.
And there's a big primary in New York on Tuesday. On Tuesday. June 23rd, Tuesday.
With those three candidates, it's going to be interesting, John, to see. Because one of them, the Chevalier, is going up against Adriano Espaillat, who's with the Hispanic Caucus. I mean, he's been there forever, but I guess he doesn't work for Bernie Sanders.
Well, Governor Patterson, you want to say something?
Well, I reached out to Congressman Espaillat, and I don't know what the problem is. Maybe today's a holiday, the office is closed. But when you're in a race and someone's trying to find you, they have to be able to do that. I'm hoping to get him for us by Monday.
Oh, that'd be great.
That is great.
That'd be great.
And in the studio this morning, and we went overtime. We went into we went into
Brian Kilmeade? Was it
Brian
Brian
Kilmeade's
Kilmeade?
time.
It was Brian Kilmeade in progress.
We had at 9:55. President Kennedy's grandson showed up, and we went to 10:10.
Oh, interesting.
15 minutes.
Very interesting to hear from him. I mean, and he's doing well in that race.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the Democrats, maybe he's the saner of the insane.
Now, John, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's say that your son or your daughter decided to run for one of these offices, but you're very high profile, like a Caroline Kennedy. Would you come in and make the commercial for them?
Well, Tricia Nixon did it for her son Christopher, right, Ed? And
I guess that worked out.
I mean, Tricia was out there for Christopher every day, every weekend, every day.
No, she did.
And that's what a mother does.
Yes,
that's what a mother does.
Absolutely.
And Caroline,
that's great.
And Caroline Kennedy is out for her son Jack Schleifer.
By the way, he looks so much like when you see him. I mean, he reminds me of JFK Jr. so much when I look at him. He
Mothers. Forget about fathers. Even though it's Father's Day, mothers are always out there for their sons.
You can always count on women. That's the bottom line.
Are you talking about
You can always count on
Wait a
women.
second. Are you talking about non-gestating parent day?
Oh, no.
Well, let's go.
Your
The
Honor.
judge wants me to puke. Look, is Melissa DeRosa on or what?
She is.
Let's go to Melissa DeRosa.
I'm going to save you, all right?
Let's move on.
Let's go to Melissa DeRosa. Melissa, it's great to have you here. Speaking of all the craziness, we were talking about the rally last night, and then you had Bernie Sanders there, and he's looking at Zoran Mondani and says, what you are doing should be a model for America. What do you think of that?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's a lot of layers to what's going on here, and I'd be interested to see what Governor Patterson has to say about it. But the fact that he came into Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' literal backyard in Brooklyn, so the sitting, leaders of both the Senate and the Assembly for the Democrats, to endorse against the people that are the incumbent Democrats who Hakeem Jeffries, as the leader, is representing, in and of itself, I think, is a huge story. Just in terms of the civil war that is breaking out, they are going for broke. They've decided this is their year, and they're not playing by any of the traditional rules. So that, in and of itself, and the disrespect that they showed to Chuck and Hakeem, I thought was staggering, and just shows you how serious they are about the DSA takeover of the Democratic Party. So that's one thing.
Well,
the
I'll
second thing, Rita, go ahead, Governor.
I was going to say that it seems to be almost like part of the indoctrination of becoming a socialist that you just attack everybody. I mean, the mayor gets up at the Knicks rally and talks for 11 minutes. But how many points did he score in the last game? The real issue, I think, is that there are parties that have clashed all the time and people who don't get along all the time. But they showed absolute, abject disharmony with the other members of their party.
No, exactly. And by the way, I sort of enjoyed Jim Dolan taking his shot at Zoran Mamdani at the rally yesterday and saying, I don't have to get any votes. And by the way, Zoran Mamdani, who's now Mr. Knicks, who 1 year ago when the press asked him to name his favorite player, he couldn't name a single member of the Knicks. But
that is correct.
But that's who he is, right? He's a phony on every level. He's the champagne socialist who says, we need to do all these things for the people, and it turns out he is the oligarchy who has the, compound in Uganda and the servants who wait on them and hangs around with people who say, death to gay people. But in any event, so Tuesday is going to be very, very interesting. Rita, I thought you were generous in calling them progressives. I don't think these people who are running are progressives. I think that they are wackos.
Yeah, I agree. And dangerous. Dangerous. How about the Chevalier?
Totally.
How about Chevalier? I want to remind everybody, because this Dalariza Chevalier, who's running against Adriano Espaillat, she has been totally anti-Israel. She led the protests, by the way, those protests at Columbia University. And she's also said she wants non-citizens to vote. So that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and she was out there October 8th rallying in support of Hamas after that terror attack, after the brutal rape and murder and kidnapping of all of the Israelis and, by the way, many Americans who happened to be there at the time. She has said she wants to abolish ICE. She wants to abolish the border, abolish the border. She wants to abolish prison systems. She wants to abolish the police. I mean, this is not like a difference between a center-left Democrat and a far-left Democrat. This is the difference between a center-left Democrat and someone who belongs in an insane asylum. And anybody who is listening, who is a voter in that district on the Upper East and Upper West Side, I'm sorry, not the Upper East, Upper West Side. I'm confusing now the Michael Asher Kennedy seat because you guys were talking about it. Up in Washington Heights and up in Harlem, in Governor Patterson's backyard, I urge you to vote, if you haven't yet, for Adriano Espaillat on Tuesday, because if we start letting women like this in, there is no turning back. And it is not just bad for the city, it's bad for the country.
Melissa, I was out there last weekend, and it is close. It's not just some upstart. There's apparently some money behind her. And then there's a kind of lack of political, advice on the other side.
Yeah, I was interested, Governor, because obviously there's the long-standing feud between the, Keith Wright's family and Adriano. Have the sides come together for the good of the future, or has everyone come together to try to get behind Adriano, or do you feel like the energy's flat on the ground?
The only thing they've come together on is the Knicks.
That's something we can all come together on. That's for sure.
Right.
Melissa, we love you. It's so great to have you. On that note, that's a happy note for a Friday. We'll take it.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you. And John, I understand we have calling in right now that we have John Sununu.
I'll take that. Calling in right now, we have Senator John Sununu, and he is running for the U.S. Senate, and he represents New Hampshire, and he's got President Donald J. Trump's endorsement in the primary. That means he's a winner, for sure. Well, Senator Sununu, tell us.
Hey, great to be with you, John. You look, nothing's guaranteed in politics, but New Hampshire's a Republican state. My goal is obviously win the primary. Maybe more important, win the general election. We need a Republican majority in the U.S. Senate. Look, the party here is unified. I've got the support of our Senate president, former Republican governors, the Trump organization here in the state, Steve Stepanek, who's still an advisor to the president and has helped organize the grassroots. So, it's nice to have a unified party because our primary's late. It's in September, and we want to come out of there with real momentum. I've won my first House primary, had 8 people in it. I've won a primary for the U.S. Senate, tough primary in 2002. So, look, that's politics in New Hampshire. But this is just too important. We need to make sure we don't go back to high taxes. We don't want to go back to border chaos. We want to maintain our energy dominance. And the only way to do those things is to hold that majority in the U.S. Senate.
Well, I am glad you are coming back. You were a congressman in New Hampshire. You were a United States senator in New Hampshire. And what happened? You retired for 15 years?
Well, I lost along with 7 or 8 other Republican senators in the Obama election of 2008. But look, I went back to the private sector. I was working in manufacturing and technology before getting elected. went back to those things. I've enjoyed my time in the private sector. I've worked for Boston Scientific, a medical device company. I taught classes at St. Anselm's College. I even wrote a newspaper column for a while. So, I've enjoyed the private sector. The Democrats call it selling out when you work in the private sector. My family calls it having a real job. And frankly, we need more people with business experience, with practical experience, working with employees on healthcare regulation. That's what we need in Washington. Fewer career politicians and more people who have worked in the real world.
John Sununu, you know what I say? I gave a speech someplace a couple of days ago, and you know what I said? What happened to the days of the movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington? We need more common sense people in Washington, business people, and we need people that are loyal to America versus being loyal to the lobbyists.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm not looking for another job. I'm not looking to run for any other office. I'm not looking to make any other politician happy. I'm just looking to stand up for New Hampshire, fight for New Hampshire, the things I talked about as a live free or die state, right? Low taxes, local control, secure borders, public safety. And there are just too many politicians, too many liberals in Washington today. They hate business. They seem to hate the American economy. They seem to hate innovation. They seem to hate people who create jobs. And look, you can't be pro-worker if you're not supporting policies that help the economy grow. You can't be pro-worker if you're pushing policies that increase energy costs by shutting down American production. So we need more people that love America, love the American enterprise system, are looking for ways to create a brighter economic future for the men and women that work hard across the country every day.
John Sununu, thank you so much for coming on this evening, and let's talk again on Sunday. Thank you so much.
Great to be with you.
Wow, great discussion. And we love the Sununu family.
The Sununu family is a great family.
Yeah.
I remember when his father was chief of staff to Bush 41, and then he was governor, and his brother was governor, and he was a United States senator already, and he wants to run for election because he wants to fix Washington.
Good for him.
Well, look, let's go for a break, and let's come back. We have Joe Concha.
Yeah, always good on a Friday.
Always entertaining on a Friday.
Looking to see what's happening around your home? Ring's Battery Doorbell helps you track packages and see who's at your door in real time. The Outdoor Cam Plus protects your yard at night with a wide field of view and clearer Retinal 2K video. Or upgrade to 4K cameras and doorbells with Retinal Vision for ultra-clear zoom and detail. Your door, your yard, your home. With Ring, it's protected. Shop cameras, doorbells, and more at ring.com now.
Faraday presenta Ojos con Alergia y Picazón contra el jardinero. Y el ganador es Faraday Extra Fuerte. Para aliviar la picazón de los ojos por alergia, actúa más rápido y supera a Claritin y Flonase aún a las 24 horas. Faraday, adelante.
For the moments that matter, choose Curad Naturals. Infused with aloe vera and vitamin E, Curad Naturals bandages protect your unexpected scrapes, cuts, and burns while also moisturizing your skin. Find deeper relief with natural ingredients you can trust to start the healing. When life's surprises call for the best, choose Curad, a deeper level of care. Shop the full collection on Amazon or visit Curad.com to learn more.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. And John, it's Friday, and that means Joe Concha.
It doesn't have an official Friday until Joe Concha comes on.
And then until he does the yay at the end, right? You got to have that.
He missed one Friday, though.
Oh, we did. We'll forgive him.
I wrote it down.
We'll forgive him. Is that okay? What do you think?
Absolutely.
All right, Joe, take it away.
Hi.
Well said, Joe. Well said.
20 years, John, if you forgive me, please.
Tell us, what the heck is going on?
Oh, I don't know. We got a lot going on here. I mean, I don't know. James Carville actually said that Donald Trump did a good job with Iran. Said that, you know what, get out while you can. LBJ didn't, and George W. Bush didn't, and all these people in endless wars didn't. He got out, and Carville said that he did a good job. So, I guess it's opposite day. Go figure, guys.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because
how right has Carville been in the last decade?
Yeah, I was going to say, were we doing the Nostradamus?
He hasn't been right in so long that I can't remember.
I can't either.
Somebody on television, I thought it was Joe Concha, made a list of 10 things he was consecutively wrong on.
Yeah, the Nostradamus. Remember, we had the Nostradamus stuff earlier.
I asked him about Nostradamus. How right was Nostradamus?
And you brought up how you went to school with him.
That's right. We went bowling on Tuesday nights.
That's right.
Oh, that's great.
By the way, now you also want to talk about Obama and that eyesore of a library.
Is that the library with no windows?
Yeah, is that true that there's no windows? I mean, it looks like a prison.
It looks like an ugly prison.
Yeah, it's an ugly building.
Guys, $900 million it cost to build that monstrosity. And to your point, no windows whatsoever. It's the ugliest thing ever. And we heard yesterday where we had people come up and say, well, we have to talk about the stolen lands that this Obama library was built on and pledge them. Well, I don't know, give it back to them then if that's the problem, right? So, but the problem was, the big problem was that Dr., all right, with an asterisk, Dr. Jill Biden allowed her husband to stay on stage. And while she left with Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, he's up there wandering around, does not know where he is. Watch the video. And it's so cruel. I felt almost sorry for Joe Biden.
I did feel sorry for him.
I felt sorry for him, too, when I saw it. It reminded me, remember at the White House when Obama came? Remember, Ed?
Same look in the White House. Obama came. Everyone was around Obama, and he was looking his normal vacant look.
And he had this glazed look like, where am I?
Exactly.
It was really sad. It was sad. And what a contrast to, I mean, it's almost like it's such an alternative universe, guys. You think about President Trump, who, has the UFC event. He flies, goes all the way to France. He's dealing with G7. He comes back, has meetings. He's dealing with everything with Iran and Russia and everything else. And then you got Joe Biden, who doesn't know which stage left or stage right.
And the media goes after Trump's capacity.
Yes, exactly. They go after Trump's capacity.
A joke. Absolute joke. When you see that Donald Trump takes more questions from the press than any president in our lifetimes, times 10. And he's only like 5.5 years in. And then everybody's saying, well, 25th Amendment, we got to think about Trump's, mental capacity. Oh, please. Compared to what we had, it's a joke. And at the same time, now what we have now, guys, is gas prices coming way, way down because of this conflict ending. And overall, I don't know what Democrats run on at this point, because outside of we're going to save democracy and Trump's really, really a bad guy, I don't know what they run on. I think that in the end, the House and the Senate stays with the Republicans, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't know. What do you think? I think it's still going to be tough just because of the way things go, but I think the Senate's going to stay for sure. I hope they both stay, but
if the Republicans hold the House, it's a whole change in our political cycles.
Yeah. So, imagine if that happens, that would be.
It's a huge change.
Just remember, you don't have Al Green asking for impeachment on day one anymore because he's not there anymore.
Great point.
Before we let you go, Joe, also, this is disheartening. This is sad. There was some poll about the percentage of Democrats that say that they will fly the American flag on July 4th. It should be 100%. It doesn't matter whether you're America, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, we're all Americans. But what does this new poll say?
Well, new poll says that 1 in 4 Democrats who voted, Democrat, whether Kamala Harris or anybody else, will fly the American flag on July 4th. 1 in 4.
Wow.
Meanwhile, you compare that with Trump voters, where it's 9 in 10, right? So I think it's 10 in 10 personally. But overall, you hate the country because of who's president. In the end, you love the country regardless of who is in office, based on the wealthiest country in the world, the most innovative country in the world, Amazon, Apple, Tesla, you name the country, the things that are produced out of, this country. Sydney Sweeney, Right, Sydney Sweeney movies, like they come out of this country. That should be the end, I would think.
Wait. What about Tom Cruise movies?
That was pretty disturbing.
Wait, what about Tom Cruise movie? They come out of this country too.
They do, exactly. So I don't know. Love the country. Doesn't matter who's in office. I just don't get it.
The CNN poll.
They're an angry, bitter party. And at this point, I think that's why they lose the midterms, because they have no positivity. They have no positive message for the future.
CNN poll. It's CNN, remember. Of course, is very pro-Trump, shows that only 29% of Democrats love the country now, as opposed to 70 or 80% back in 2000 and 2001.
Which is so sad.
And this is our 250th coming up, and they won't fly the flag?
Right.
Wow.
You got to love the country and appreciate the country, whatever political aisle you're on. Absolutely. Joe, thank you very much. You hear the music. Are you warming up? You ready?
I am, yes. What do we stand for? People.
All right, here we go, John. John, you ready? What do we stand for?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?